Support for this podcast comes from AT&T. You know, throughout history, switching to new technology wasn't complicated. Ancient Roman aqueducts made water fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Electricity made candles fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Today, we have AT&T 5G. It's fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Put into a historical context, yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan, may not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Introducing Built to Last, a new podcast by American Express. I'm Elaine Welteroth, and I'm excited to host the debut season where we will be deep diving into the stories, history, and continued legacy of small businesses that shape American culture. Through these important conversations, we'll hear how the Black business leaders of our past have inspired today's Black-owned small businesses and communities. Join us for the debut season of Built to Last on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Before we get started, support for this podcast comes from Boost with Facebook, whose podcast, Boost My Business with David Fisher, features unique perspectives and insight from business leaders and small business owners. Hear stories and anecdotes about businesses just like yours. Gain insight on what it takes to grow a business, and learn from both the mistakes and triumphs of others. Listen to Boost My Business wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and welcome to the Farm Traveler Podcast. I am your host, Trevor Williams, and you might notice this show is coming out on Thursday instead of Wednesday because we had a technical difficulty, but luckily our guest today helped me figure it out and we fixed it and the show is up. So thank goodness we didn't have to reschedule again. So luckily the episode is happening, and our guest today just so happens to be Farmer Dre. If you're on Instagram, maybe you follow him. His handle is just farmer_Dre. He also has a really awesome YouTube channel. So he is a first generation fruit grower in Missouri, and he's going to talk to us today about growing fruit, what they grow: strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, peaches, apples, a lot of other stuff. They also just started to incorporate a bakery on their farm, which is super cool. And he's going to tell us how he and his parents got the farm, or got the orchard, back in 2013, and how he's actually a first-generation United States citizen. His parents were both born in Romania, and they moved here back in the 90s, and he'll tell us all about that whole family story, how his family is kind of going with the orchard, and his future plans. And also, this was really cool. I love quotes. Back in the day, I had like this Word document on my computer that had 150 quotes or something like that, like movie quotes and inspirational quotes and stuff like that. So Dre's going to tell us how he tries to live his life by one quote: do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, which I think was really awesome. And also he's going to tell us about how he's using his YouTube channel to educate consumers, which, you know, is something we're trying to do here with the podcast, which is awesome. He has a lot of really great points on there that he'll touch base on. So I encourage you, if you're on Instagram, check out Farmer Dre. Again, it's farmer_Dre. And also check out his YouTube channel. I'll link all of that stuff in the description of this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. This will probably be the second to last episode of 2020. So next week we'll have kind of a catch-up episode, and I'll talk to you about some things I've learned from this season. Maybe Allie will come on the show. We will see. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this interview with Dre. It was so cool to talk to him and kind of learn more about his fruit orchard and how he got started and his future plans. So thanks for listening and enjoy the podcast. All right. Well, Farmer Dre, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. Another beautiful day here on the, on the planet Earth. So
I like it. So you are, I followed you a few months ago when we finally got our interview started. You're a fruit grower in Missouri. Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you started being a first generation farmer.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm a 23-year-old. I'm very young, probably one of the youngest fruit farmers in this area, even though there's not a lot of orchards and fruit farms in Southwest Missouri. But this past spring, I graduated with my bachelor's in horticulture, plant science, and it's full force on the farm. But kind of some back history of how we got started on the farm. So my parents are originally from Romania, and back in the 1990s, they figured out that Romania wasn't for them. So then they came to the United States, the great country, the United States of America. So I was actually born in Southern California in Riverside. And then in 2003, my parents, they they had an aunt that lived out here in Missouri, so we came out here to visit. And my mom told my dad, it's so beautiful out here that I think you're going back to California by yourself. So, and then a couple months later, we moved out here. So then, whenever we first moved to Missouri, my parents bought a turkey farm. So we raised commercial turkeys for Cargill for 11 years, and we did that, with the family. So I forgot to mention that I come from a big family, so I'm 8 out of 10. So I got 7 older siblings and 2 younger brothers, and we ran the turkey farms for 11 years. And then in 2013, one of my older brothers, him and his wife, came out to the apple orchard to pick some apples. And the previous owner, Cliff Plaster, he was getting on in age. His kids didn't want him to run the orchard, so then he asked my brother, "Hey, you look like someone that likes to work hard." And my brother's like, "Yeah, why not?" And he's like, "Well, I'm trying to sell this orchard, and nobody seems to want it." So he told him that if nobody buys it within a year, he's going to push down 20 acres of apples and peaches. So then the next day was Sunday. So after church, the family got together as usual, family dinner. And my older brother Victor tells my dad about the orchard, and then it worked perfectly out as a blessing from God. And it was 30 days later we came into the possession of the orchard. So.
Well, that's cool. That's a cool little story. 8 out of 10. I can imagine holidays are a little bit hectic in your family with 10 siblings. I mean, that's crazy. That's a lot. I've only got one sister, so I can imagine how hectic that probably is.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, big families, it's the way to do it. Now, looking back, I always tell my mom and dad, why didn't you have more kids? Because, family's pretty cheap labor. So.
That's true. I mean, it's free labor. I mean, there you go.
Yeah. So, children are a blessing from God. So that's how we look at it. And, it's, big families are nice. You have who to fight with, you have who to play with, and you have who to argue with. So, it's it's a fun time.
Oh, I can imagine. That's super neat. So going off of the orchard, I mean, so what exactly do you guys grow, and how have you kind of grown it since you've kind of started having that fruit orchard?
Yeah, so originally it was just 20 acres of apple trees, and they had about 100 peach trees. So whenever we first bought the orchard, that's all it was, and the orchard was kind of run down, kind of just neglected for so many years because the previous owner, he had some health issues, and he hasn't done anything to the orchard for the 7 previous years. So we get in there knowing nothing about fruit production, and we used to raise turkeys for Cargill. That's what we did for 11 plus years. And knowing nothing about fruit production, my dad knew nothing about fruit production. So we jumped into in that winter of 2013 into 2014. My dad, my younger brother Adrian, my younger brother Isaac, and myself, we jumped into pruning 20 acres of apples without knowing nothing about fruit production. All we knew was gobble gobble. So, but then. Yeah, so knowing nothing about fruit production, we jumped into pruning it, and it was the hardest time in the world because we had no idea what we're doing. And I was a sophomore in high school at the time, and I remember coming home from school every single day and pruning the orchard. It was super busy. It was that time. I was young. I didn't really want to work, and from being from a big family, my dad always taught us, if you don't work, you don't get to eat or sleep because that's part of being part of the family. So. I hated the orchard. I really didn't see myself going, pursuing a career in it. So then years go on. We're still maintaining the orchard. We're still, figuring out what we want to do with it. So then I graduated high school in 2016, and then, started going to college, just taking a bunch of general education classes, seeing what was available, what I wanted to do in my life, and then at the same time, I took a few accounting classes, and I quickly realized that I hate accounting. With the passion. I was pretty good at math. I enjoy math, but accounting just wasn't my thing. And I was like, man, if in the back of my mind, I was kind of thinking about getting a degree in agricultural business. Something to do in agriculture, but more, not on the physical labor part of it. So, I was like, what else do I have in store other than doing so much math and accounting? So at the time, our farm started diversifying, and we got our first greenhouse when we started growing a lot of greenhouse tomatoes and produce and stuff. So then I was like, this ain't too bad. So, I transferred to universities, and then I started studying plant science. So that's when my passion for growing fruit really started. Is right when I changed my career from just general education to plant science. So ever since then, we've expanded the farm from just apples to peaches. Now we do strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, of course, apples and peaches, and we've kind of started our newer modern systems on those crops. And then we do a lot of greenhouse tomatoes, a lot of high tunnel tomatoes, a lot of produce, and our farm just ever since then just expanded 10 and 12 times more than the original orchard. So now we are currently we about 55 acres in total on the farm. And then, of course, we have a few cattle just for my dad to have some meat on the table. So, so we really diversified. And, our goal now on the farm is to have fresh fruit May through October, starting off with strawberries and ending off the season with apples. And then, of course, with the apple cider. And then another way we've diversified our farm, kind of going off on a tangent here, we opened a bakery. So one of my older sisters is a pastry chef. So my parents made her a bakery there on the farm. So we sell all kinds of homemade pastries, and she makes everything from scratch and just delicious stuff. So
That's awesome. So not only are you guys super diverse, I mean, you've got a lot of fruits and veggies or a lot of fruits, and you said you've got some cows. You've also got a really cool bakery, it sounds like. So that's so cool. I mean, how has that been super successful with y'all? I mean, are you trying to use some of your fruit in that bakery? How's that going?
yeah, absolutely. So we try to implement as much as the fruit we grow on the farm into the bakery, and then this past season we got into the canning line, so we'll be doing a lot of value added products as well, because we also have a farm store there on the farm, so people come up to the farm all the time. And the way we market our fruit, we're a pick operation, so we grow the fruit and then the customers come out to the farm and pick the fruit, and then we have the farm store, and it's just a nice experience for the kids and the families, and they just come out to the farm and have fun. And then we also do a lot of farmers markets in the local area. So yeah, the bakery was a big add-on to the farm, because they'd come out for the farm fresh fruit, add a jar of honey, a jam or a jelly, and then of course the fresh bread and their donuts as well. So
That's really neat. So going back to your degree a little bit, what were there some like main things that you learned in college that you brought back to the farm? I mean, while you were doing that, what were some main things that you brought back from learning in the classroom, kind of putting it to work on the fruit farm?
absolutely. So, I was blessed the opportunity to, have to learn at the same time as I was doing, practicing it out in the field. So for me, a lot of the stuff already made sense because I've already had so much experience on the farm hands on. So then when I started going to college, all the stuff was making sense. So I would say the biggest thing I learned in college is about soil science. That's one thing we've never known before, because, just my history, my past. And then whenever I learned there's so many different soil types and how to treat your soil and how to make your soil as productive as possible. So that's one of the biggest things. And then, of course, just the different methods of growing fruit. And, there's so many different systems to grow them on. And, that was the biggest thing is, finding what works for our farm in our area. But in general, I feel like, just that interest in the whole soil science part of my degree was I learned so much from it. And I was so intrigued that, if you do this to your soil, the more production. So that meant more money in our pockets. So like, what strings can I pull to be able to, have initially more production on our farm, because more production meant, the more product to sell. So I would say that was the biggest thing is, learning about the soils and how that works, and just, I mean, I could go in detail about it, but that's one of the biggest things.
That's so cool. Yeah, the more I learn, I mean, a lot of people don't think that how important soil is to farming, but I mean, that's one of the most important things out there. And so that's cool that you learned that and you're putting that to work on the farm as you're learning it. So that's really neat. Um, what are your production methods like? I mean, are you guys organic? Are you conventional? Do you have a little bit of both? So what's your production methods like?
Yeah, so that's our most asked question, even at the farmers market, at their farm store there, is do we
Hmm.
spray? And that's everybody says that, the media saying, oh, chemicals are bad. Don't eat stuff, go to the grocery store, eat the organic stuff. But a lot of people don't realize is that the chemicals that, farmers spray are not very cheap. I mean, we spend anywhere from, $5, $7 to $10,000 a season on those chemicals we are using. So I always tell our customers, if there is a problem, we try to solve it. If there's no problem, we don't do anything. I compare it to ourselves. If you're feeling sick, you go to the doctor to get healed. And same thing with the plants and the trees and the orchard. If there's an issue, insect issue or bacteria issue in the trees, and we try to solve it. And we try to solve it with with the least amount of input costs on our side. So that we're conventional, but then we're if there's not an issue, we don't spray. So.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. So, do you find that that's super difficult to kind of educate consumers about, like a lot of misconceptions out there, whether you guys are just spraying 24/7 or just misconceptions about production? Do you see a lot of misconceptions out there?
Yeah, absolutely. And and being on YouTube and watching other people's stuff, and a lot of times we could blame the consumers, but I think it's the farmers' fault to begin with, because we haven't brought enough awareness and enough education out there. So it goes both ways. The customers and the consumers need to be open-minded and willing to learn, but then the farmers need to be open-minded and willing to teach the customers about production methods and being conventional versus organic. So it goes both ways. And if everybody was just a little more open-minded and would sit down with the farmer and listen to what we have to say, and that's the biggest thing. A lot of customers don't realize that we do this full time. We pay our bills by selling fruit, and if a lot of people nowadays, a lot of consumers, they eat with their eyes. So if you don't have a pretty product, you're not going to be able to sell it. And the way to get a pretty fruit or vegetable is to watch out. And let's say Japanese beetles comes in your orchard, and there's millions of Japanese beetles eating up your fruit, then you're not going to have a pretty product at the end of the season. So you're not going to be able to sell it at the top price. So that's how I look at it. And it's a little more, the consumers need to be a little bit open-minded and willing to learn. And us farmers, absolutely, we have to be willing to teach the customers and educate them on what we are doing out there.
Oh yeah, 100%. So going off that, yeah, you've got a kind of a growing YouTube channel. what was the inspiration behind that, and how's that all going?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is kind of a funny start. So my junior senior year of college, I was kind of debating about, well, hey, what am I going to do with the future? Do I want to focus full time on the farm? Do I want to go get my master's degree? Because all the professors, they were a big fan of me, because I knew so much of the hands-on of the experience on the farm, and then the whole educational side. So then I quickly realized that I enjoy school, but it wasn't really for me. So one way I could continue teaching the way I like to teach without getting an education was, to be able to reach out and teach the consumers of, how our farm operates, and being very transparent with our customers and the consumer of how we're doing stuff. So like, what? Why don't I start a YouTube channel? And the funny thing is, the day I started my YouTube channel, my younger brother, Adrian, he got big into the whole drop shipping deal, and he made, $500-600 doing that. And I was sitting there, I was like, man, I'm such a loser with my life. What have I done to my life? And what am I doing for myself? So then, I uploaded my first video on YouTube, and like, hey, I can really go on this. So, on my YouTube channel, I've really taken part of more like the educational channel, trying to teach the consumers about production methods, about the fertilizers, about what different temperatures, and I throw a little humor in there as well. So that's how I start off my YouTube channel. Now I'm just focusing on teaching, the home gardener, teaching the consumer how to grow a perfect nice tomato or whatever the fruit or vegetable is. And that's where I took track. And I started back in spring of 2019. So here in a couple weeks here, it'll be 2 years into YouTube. So I just hit 8,700 subscribers. So I'm just going strong at it now. So.
Well, hey, there you go. A couple more subscribers, hopefully, and you'll be getting one of those play buttons. So that'll be really cool. I hope that happens one day for you.
Yeah, and one thing, whenever I first started, I told myself I'm not going to worry about the subscribers. I'm just going to do it because I enjoy teaching people and talking about, my passion for agriculture. And then, I set a goal for myself to try to hit 10,000 subscribers in my first 2 years on YouTube. So, lately here, I've been, watching my subscribers go up and trying to push on my channel. But yeah, that's been a big challenge, and especially with us, I'm so focused on the farm. The whole YouTube thing is just to add on to our orchard. And a lot of the consumers don't realize, and I talk to a lot of farmers as well. I'm really good good friends with our local farmers in our area. And a lot of the farmers started laughing at me. He's like, "Oh, you're just going to show all your secrets of your farm," but they didn't realize that the outreach that I was doing with my YouTube channel has been bringing customers to our orchard. And I started working with a lot of different universities in our area just because they've started noticing me and like, "Hey, this guy's young, he's passionate, he enjoys doing it. How can we work with him?" So tomorrow, actually, a few guys from a university will be coming out here. We're going to be a quick educational video, and I'll be speaking at a conference this next spring. And then, we're part of the North American Blackberry and Raspberry Association, and they reached out to me because of my YouTube channel. And it's like, "Hey, we want you to be the star farmer at our next conference." So, it's just reaching out and showing people what we're doing on our farm has really kind of helped out our business in general. So.
Well, that's so cool. That's awesome. That, I mean, just because of your YouTube channel, that they reached out and they want you to be on their program, and that's so cool. I mean, that's kind of showing that you're doing a lot of good out there. I mean, a lot of people are learning from you and seeing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So what are the future plans? What future plans do you have for the farm? And I think you said you were thinking about getting a master's degree. So what exactly all do you have planned for the future?
Yeah, so on the farm side of it, so here lately in the past couple of years, we've been planting a lot of new production methods. Like on the apples, we've been planting a lot of high density apples, meaning instead of planting 100 trees per acre, we're planting 1,200 trees per acre on a dwarfing rootstock. And on my YouTube videos, I get more into detail about that. But us as farmers, we harvest something. A lot of whenever I tell that to customers, they think we're harvesting our crops, but we're actually harvesting sunlight. And without the sun, we wouldn't have any crops. So we got to make, the process of photosynthesis as effective as possible. And if you're more interested in this, just go back to some of my YouTube videos. I'll talk more in depth about it. But we take that sunlight that's available, to us, and we try to convert it as many apples per acre or as many berries per acre. So a lot of the new systems we've been planting have been on a trellis system where we, use photosynthesis as effectively as possible. So like on our blackberries, we're growing them on a trellis system where we flip them down horizontally in the spring, and then whenever they're done blossoming, we pick them back up. So then on one side you have a wall full of fruit, and on the other side you just leaves. So whenever the customers come out to the farm that you pick, they're just reaching out there, picking the berry without touching any leaves, and then just using photosynthesis as effectively as possible. So that's the direction we've taken with our farm. And like this next spring, we're planting another 800 apple trees on the high density system. And we're starting to listen to the consumers, and everybody wants a nice, crisp, sweet apple. So we've actually joined the Midwest Apple Improvement Association, the MAIA, and we're going to be planting a lot of new varieties like Evercrisp, Ludacrisp, Crimson Crisp, which are a lot of those are Honey Crisp Fuji crosses that just make a delicious apple. So that's the focus of our farm. And this past fall, we actually got done planting 35,000 strawberry plants. So this is the most strawberry plants we've ever planted. So just keep on going, just keep on growing the farm, and we'll see what the future holds us. And on the side of the whole educational thing in the master's degree, so I saw that my YouTube channel kind of took off, and that's still on my, that's still in the back of my mind. But it's going to be a couple more years, or I'll even see if I ever pursue that master's degree. But we'll see. We're just out here trying to make it big. So.
Hey, well, there you go. One step at a time. So, did you say one of those apples, the varieties was called Ludacrisp?
Yes.
That is awesome. I mean, it sounds so close to ludicrous. I like that.
Yeah, so it's a hybridized Honey Crisp. And for us, like here in Southwest Missouri, we can't grow the original Honey Crisp just because different growing methods. But first of all, we get too much sun, and it gets too hot, so the trees kind of burn up. So, we're just trying to plant some of those new hybrid varieties, see if they work in our area. So, you got to listen to the customers. I talk about this and preach about this. Without our customers, we wouldn't have a business. So that's one thing we got to keep in mind, is that we got to listen to our customers and see what our customers want, and then we grow it. So.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's something I'm always trying to teach consumers, is that they're the most powerful person on the whole food supply chain. I mean, what they want is basically what the farmer will grow or make or however. And so, I mean, that's a really good point. You're not going to grow something if nobody's going to buy it. So whatever they want, you guys will grow it. So I like that.
And that's our plan, and we're keeping to it. So.
Yeah, I like it. That's awesome. Well, Dre, this has been awesome, man. So if people want to follow you, you are Farmer Dre on YouTube and on Instagram. So where all can they go to kind of follow you and see what you're doing and watch all this really cool educational content that you're putting out?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is on YouTube, and if you want to see more of the daily stuff on stories, is on Instagram, and then you can always follow me on TikTok. I got like 30 or 40,000 followers on there. A fun fact: my younger brother Adrian, he's got 150,000 followers on TikTok, 130,000 followers on TikTok. Just posting farming stuff. So that's under Real Farmer, and then of course you can always follow our farm at Gardener's Orchard and Bakery. Uh, on Instagram and Facebook. So, my biggest thing is YouTube and Instagram. So,
Gotcha. That's awesome. We'll be sure to link all that in the description, man. I appreciate I'm glad we finally sat down and had an interview. Can't wait to see how your YouTube channel grows and Instagram and how the farm grows. So awesome stuff you're doing, man. Keep up the good work.
yep. And if you're ever up in this area, feel free to stop in. I'll give you the whole exclusive farm tour. So,
Hey, deal.
and one thing I got to mention earlier, we do a lot of field trips and farm tours in the fall for the kids. So we get, 5,000 to 6,000 kids through our apple orchard in the fall. So that's a way we outreach as well and educate the consumer. So we're just, we're the U-Pick, traditional U-Pick operation, hay rides, fun for the family, fun for the kids. So
That's cool. Yeah, and before I forget about that, I mean, do you guys have you ever had any like really cool aha moments with the kids that go out there? They're like, "Oh wait, this is how my fruit's grown. It's not magically grown or it doesn't magically appear in a grocery store." So have you had any like aha moments whenever the kids go out there and tour?
oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the first question I ask the kids, especially in the fall, is like, hey, where do apples come from? Some of them would raise their hand and they know the answer off the bat, but a lot of them are just like, where? They're confused, because they've never been exposed to it. So then I was like, I'll show you. So we get on the farm tour and I show them the apple trees full of fruit. They're like, wow, that's so awesome. So gotta teach them young. So
Oh yeah, you got to teach them real young so they know like where their food comes from and that chocolate milk doesn't come from brown cows. I mean, like the Willy Wonka thing. That's funny. All right, cool. Well, Dre, thanks for being on, man. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll be following you on Instagram and YouTube and all those channels. So keep up the good work, man.
I appreciate your time and yeah, both for us in the future. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, man.